listeners, and welcome to another week on Chasm Converses. My guest this week is Felicia Tassone, and we talk about music, bands, singing and screaming, acting, and her appearance in several feature films. There's a lot to unpack, so join us and let's get conversing. Chasm Converses. Felicia Tassone, welcome to Chasm Converses.
Hello.
It's so wonderful to have you here. There's so much that I'd love to talk to you about today. There's so much to unpack. You know, there's music and there's vocals, singing, screaming, films, feature films. There's just so much to get on with. So let's crack straight in. How did you learn to sing? Who was the mastermind that taught you how to use your voice in the way that you do?
Me. No.
My God.
I definitely started singing as soon as I could even make noises with my face.
Yeah.
I just had singing lessons from the singing teachers at my school, and that went on until I was about 17 years old. So yeah, definitely took those lessons all throughout school. I had multiple different teachers, and they all had different styles as well, which taught me a lot of versatility. That's for sure.
Right. Okay.
So yeah, ranging from like jazz to rock to just pop, and even like a bit of musical theatre as well.
Oh wow! Awesome.
So yeah, I got the old had the large variety there, that's for sure.
Yeah, right. That's awesome. Did you do some musical theatre as well when you were doing that?
No, I didn't. Just mostly the style and technique of musical theatre trained vocals, I guess.
Yeah, that would have helped out so much in just being able to, project really well and hold the diaphragm in and work well with so many different styles when you obviously went into joining bands and all that sort of thing. Hey.
Yeah, 100%. And I mean, most singing teachers have told me, though, I'm a natural belter, so
right.
I think it came easy to me. I find it way more difficult to head into more of like the falsettos. I find that a little bit more difficult than being able to just hold a solid note.
Yeah, right. God damn, yeah, no, it's so cool because I went on a bit of a journey when I was obviously researching you. Because I realized that you were in a band that I saw years ago and didn't even realize that it was you, which is absolutely crazy. And that was Overview Effect. And
yes.
I saw them I saw you guys in, I think it was around 2015, 2016.
Yeah.
When you did Fault Lines. And that was it was like a show at the producer's bar. I don't know what I was doing there. Yeah. I don't know what I was doing there.
Yeah.
I was there with my band at the time, Oceans. I think a few members of our band were there. But yeah, I just remember
Yes, I do remember that.
Yeah. It was just captivating. It was like a spectacle. The song basically was, about 33 minutes long, I think, the entire Fault Line song.
You're not far off.
And yeah, I was like, it was, just like smoke machines and visualizers and all that stuff just everywhere. And so, literally I listened to that song the other day in the gym and I was like, oh my God, when you haven't listened to something for a long time, but your brain knows it and it kind of goes, wait a minute, I know what that is. And it goes back into the bank and pulls it out. It's like, oh, here it is. I was like, oh my God. And so I was like, I knew the song and it was just like a big nostalgic journey. But even so, that would have been a really great time being involved in a band like that, being able to put on not only just to present music to people, but also to present almost like a visual show for everyone to kind of witness at that point.
Oh yeah, it was everything. It wasn't just a little local band to see. We wanted to really make sure that it was a spectacle alongside of it being just a auditory thing. We really did go all out with lasers and smoke machines and visuals with the backdrop and stuff. Even got people to do lighting for us too. And I think we really wanted to make that a journey, you know. Because 33 minutes is a long time to sit through, so you got to try and give the people something.
Yeah.
In the meantime, it's definitely a unique band, and I really loved it. Like it was some good shit.
Yeah, it seemed like it really gave you like the opportunity to really bring your vocals across and really sort of shine in that matter. And it's like, I think I've got the EP somewhere in a box back home in Adelaide. But yeah, it was such a good listen, and like the artwork was really great as well. Who did the artwork for you guys, and like the visuals and stuff that you did like sort of portray at those shows?
The Fault Lines cover art I painted.
Oh wow, really?
Yeah,
brilliant,
and very badly photoshopped. I shouldn't have said that. Now people are going to be looking into it like,
I've done that myself. I've done that. I know. Yep. So I painted that. Incredible. That's awesome. It seemed like a really great band to kind of be a part of, which is really, really great. Did you guys kind of like last quite, because you guys were around for quite a while, I think, weren't you? Because you did that EP and you had like a few releases, I think, after that as well.
We got together, I would say we got 2013, I would say. We started like maybe mid to late 2013. And then I think our last release would have been like maybe 2017, 2018. And then, it just kind of, we just went on our own paths, which is totally fine. It
all kind of works in really well. Who are like some of your really, like, who are some of the bands and the vocalists that kind of influenced you into singing and into screaming and all that sort of thing?
I started listening to like metal, I guess.
Yes.
When I was like 12, and the first band I ever listened to that I was just like, oh my God, that would have been Bullet for My Valentine.
Hey, nice.
System of a Down, Rise Against. They were the probably handful that I first started listening to.
Listening to some absolute beauties. Awesome.
Went ham, yeah. Then it went wild from there.
Yeah.
You know what? Listening to Flyleaf.
Right,
Hearing her scream, I think she was the first female vocalist that I listened to that had like harsh vocal.
Right, cool.
I was just like, damn, I want to be able to do that.
Yeah, that must have like really switched it.
But yeah, I've always been mostly like influenced by male vocalists, because obviously they dominate in the scene, and we've only just recently had female vocalists come forward and absolutely smash it, and I'm so glad that it's finally happening, because 1,000%. All those female vocalists just like never got the chance to be heard are finally being heard, and it's so good.
Exactly. I feel the same. Like you've got like, I mean, back in the day, as you say, there weren't too many, but you had, I mean, the one that comes to my mind was Angela Gozzo from Arch Enemy. She was just a powerhouse.
100%.
And she was one of the main ones. But now these days, you know, you've got Elisa, who's also from Arch Enemy, Courtney LaPlante, the vocals from Ginger, whose name currently escapes me, but Tatiana, just so many like just coming in, which is just awesome to see, because I don't know, I really love listening to female vocalists with their singing and their screaming, incorporating it into metal. I think it sounds awesome, and I just cannot get enough of it personally.
Yeah, 100%. And even like with Courtney, starting out with I Wrestled a Bear Once.
Yeah, probably one of the best band names I've ever heard.
Like, I know, right?
Yeah.
And you know, like we knew of her and just absolutely slayed back then, but because it wasn't like popular for a female vocalist to be fronting or whatever, but then now it's just like they're one of the most known bands at the moment.
I know. I get to see them in 3 days and I can't wait.
I'm very jealous. Very, very jealous. I missed out when they came to Australia, unfortunately.
I'm sure they'll be back eventually,
sad.
I think. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Like next time they come, I'm just going to be like front row and center. Just like,
just worshipping. Yeah, that's what for absolute sure. Yeah, no, that sounds really, really great. So did those sort of vocal things and stuff that you learned, did they also work in quite well when you did your own solo stuff with False Dawn?
False Dawn is definitely more dream pop.
Yeah. Another style.
I wanted to do that because I wanted to delve into another style of music, but also I love writing my own dark ambient stuff. There's nothing that moves me more than a good like instrumental synthy dark track. I don't know what it is, but it just gets under my skin.
Yeah.
So like for instance, my biggest influence from that or like biggest is the Halo soundtrack.
Yeah,
from the
right.
game.
Okay.
Every single song it just inspires me so much. And even Studio Ghibli.
Right, okay.
Ghibli. Come for me. Yeah, the soundtracks from those films as well are just slap in the face. Like, I'm just so
I'm quite overwhelmed by them sometimes, I guess. Like, even when you watch a really good movie, and even if just like a movie has a really good soundtrack, you just really you're just immersed into that world. And then so when it comes to, I guess, like kind of writing your own sort of take on that sort of stuff, must be just so like just experimental to dive into, but also just it must just fill you with such a passion to want to do it. Yeah,
and it also just helps me work on my falsetto voice as well. Like because I'm so used to using such a large, powerful voice in certain style with the band stuff, but doing my own music with False Dawn, it's more of a outlet for me to just even do vocals that don't even need lyrics. Like I just love creating sounds and shapes and seeing where my voice can take me.
Yeah, right. That's really cool. And I guess that also works really well in with your current band Connections as well, because even that has got a bit of like versatile elements in it with, just the background sort of sounds that you can make, as well as some screaming, as well as some singing. So it's almost like the best of both worlds come together in that sense.
Yeah, exactly. And there's definitely a few little jazzy bits in there that I can just throw in that just spice it up a little bit.
Absolutely. Yeah, no, I was very happy to be able to have the pleasure of obviously seeing you guys live before I did move over to London, because we played a show together.
Yeah.
Which was really, really cool. And that was, as I said, I still look at that show and, just because I obviously didn't know anyone in the band or anything like that. So I'm like, oh, this is like a hell cool new band. I wonder where like all these musicians, have they like just started off, or have they been doing this for a while? I don't know. And then like there's you, who's been doing this for years. And I'm just like, oh yeah, she's pretty good. I wonder if she's just started off singing like, recently. No.
No.
Absolutely
It's my
not.
entire personality.
Yes, exactly. Oh, that reminds me of something else actually. If we tracking back to the front women in metal and in hard rock and that sort of thing, you had the unique opportunity to sing with Emmy Mack from Red Hook recently, didn't you?
I did, yes, which was absolutely wild.
That would have been amazing. How did that sort of transpire?
It's just like a random Monday night, and I just got a DM on Instagram, and it was Emmy, and I was just like,
wow.
I'm sorry, what? Is this real? Are you joking right now? And I just obviously I panicked for like a good hot minute. And then I responded, yes, I would love to sing with you on stage. Ever so calmly.
That's incredible.
So I just had like a couple of days to learn my little part. which Michaela sings from the band Yours Truly. I sang her part in their little collab song. And yeah, I thought, I'm like, well, they're some big shoes to fill, but
yeah,
I think I had the best time and did the best that I could. That's the main thing.
That's incredible. That would be wonderful. And they have such a presence, like Red Hook themselves on stage. I did see them at Download. I saw them at Download recently. And that was just crazy. It was so cool. Even just seeing like bands from, you know, Australia on like a stage in the UK is just it just really hits home. It's like, wow, you guys are just fucking doing it, and they were amazing. And so
they absolutely slayed that tour. That was my biggest fear, to be honest, is because I am so awkward and shy. Like, you probably figure this out after listening to this, but I don't know what to say ever. So I'm just like, what's the words? Where are words? What?
You're doing a very good do your job today. A very good job.
Thank you. Because when I'm on stage with my band, I'm just like, hello guys.
Yeah.
We are band.
Yeah.
So when I was on stage with them, I was just like, how am I going to match their energy? How am I going to do this? I'm going to have to so I listened to my playlist, which really pumps me up before gigs and stuff. But this one here, I was just like, no, I'm going to have to get like my most fierce playlist out ever, which is actually happens to be like drag performers. There we go. It came out of my face.
Send in the reinforcements.
Yeah. Just give me a RuPaul soundtrack and I'm just like, all right, let's go.
Yeah, right. Oh, that's so cool. That would have been, that just would have been an awesome experience to be able to just have that with her on stage and all the rest of it. And what was the show, like a Friday night or a Saturday night or something? Or
I think it was a Saturday night.
Right, cool, yeah.
Do remember I was just straight up like, yeah, sure, I can do it. But I had a 4:15 a.m. start for work the next day.
Oh, yeah. Classic, yep.
I did not sleep.
Ooh.
I literally just went straight from the gig home, got changed into my work clothes, waited a couple of hours and went to work.
Yeah, and I've been in that spot too. When you've got the last gig at the Cranker and it finishes like 12:30 in the morning. You're like, oh shit, I'm not going to get home until at least 2:30, and then I have to start work at 5. Oh boy.
It's like, guess we're going all the way through.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, that was wow. It's so cool just to like, you know, learn so much about like, you know, the voice and screaming and singing and all that sort of stuff, and even in the music side, because you've been doing it for so much of your life, which is just incredible. Yeah. But like, as well as that, you've been doing acting and being in films and that sort of thing, which was a mad segue that I found when I was researching you, which was crazy. But like, yeah, I mean, I've got like 3 here: Awoken, Semblance, and like Going for Gold. That you've been in. You may have been in even more, but I may not have been able to find those yet. But yeah, like take me through those experiences, because they would have been just incredible. Yeah, so I basically, I think it was like 2016, maybe even earlier. No, I think it was like 2016. Anyway, around that time and a bit before that, I was going through like rock bottom, like mental health, all-time low. Like, it was either like, it was one way or the other. I randomly woke up one day and I was like, nah, I got to get my shit together. I want to do something that I love, and let's fucking go. Yes. So I was just looking up all these like different acting schools and dance schools and whatever, and I was just like trying to find the one that made me feel the best, I guess. So I found one. It was an acting school, and they covered like everything basically with like performing arts. They covered film, theatre, dance, singing, everything. And so I did that. And then from that, they're also an agency, so I did get signed to them. And then I ended up just auditioning for local roles. And then out of nowhere, I did a few little short films first, and then I got a feature film out of, you know, like
not very long after I got signed. So I was just like, oh,
wow,
okay. And it was on Netflix. It had cinema release and everything. So I was just like, wow, that's going to be there forever on the internet. And cool. That's awesome.
Yeah, my goodness, that's like what a turnaround, right? Like,
yeah, and then from that came Awoken and heaps of other short films as well.
Yeah, wow, that's incredible. Where did you like shoot the films? Were they all based in like Adelaide, or were they like all around different parts of Australia, or whereabouts did you have to travel to film them?
No, they were all Adelaide, which was awesome.
Cool.
So I didn't have to travel at all or anything like that. One of the studios was actually not very far from my house, so I could just easily just rock up and go home.
Oh wow.
That's very convenient.
Yeah. No, that sounds awesome. And like, because I looked at like the trailer for Awoken, because I think that was around 2019 that came out. But even seeing that, I was like, wow, this is some intense stuff. Like, it's basically like a classic sort of a horror sort of psychological sort of film, which is really, really cool. And so like, did you do like your own stunts in that sort of film as well, or like how did that all go?
Yes, I did.
Wonderful.
It just would have been so much easier for the edit at the end as well, just to do my own stunt. Also, why not? It was so fun and so sick.
Yeah.
Wow. It was excruciating though, because like it took almost several hours just to get like a half a second worth of film. Like,
right, really?
Yeah.
Oh, geez.
To get the perfect to get the perfect shot. Yeah, so my feet were definitely hurting by the end of it, but it was worth it. That's for sure.
Yeah. Damn. I mean, sometimes it's weird. Sometimes in acting that kind of goes that way. Hey, you spend so long on like a single shot, and then suddenly it's just like, about 5 seconds or like 10 seconds of it actually gets used.
Yeah.
And you're like, yeah, that's chill. That worked out pretty well. But even so, you must have met so many awesome people and had so many great experiences in working just in the film industry and being around everybody and all the rest of it, for sure.
Oh, absolutely. And it's such a tight-knit community, especially in Adelaide, and it's just Australia as a whole. Like, everyone knows each other in the industry and everyone's so wonderful. It's such a lovely environment.
That's awesome. And so is that something that you're looking at doing maybe a bit more in the future, or are you sort of more sort of focused on like music stuff, or where do you sort of stand on that point?
I'm a little bit more focused with singing now, because I feel like I've pushed that aside for a couple of years too many, and it's just not good. It's not good for me. I need to be constantly singing it. Otherwise, I'm just like got like an identity crisis.
Right, yeah.
But I will love to delve into a little bit more acting if I get the time for it and stuff, because I do miss it. I do love playing around with characters and all that kind of stuff. It's so much fun.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree with you there. But it can really be so hard to sort of balance the creative lifestyle, I guess, as well, because you've got, as much as you would want like music and acting, all that sort of stuff to be the same thing. It's like, well, sometimes on a rare occasion it can be, but then again you've got to like, take time away to do the singing, or you've got to take time to do the acting, and very seldom are they able to sort of come together and be one big thing, but you can do all elements of it at all the same time. So, and yeah, it can be hard to kind of balance that stuff around. I've felt that as well through, music and wrestling and trying to act and stuff as well. It's like, I want to do heaps of this, but I also want to do this. Oh, but there's also this. And you're like, I don't know what to do. I'm in like 3 different directions right now. Even over here, I'm still in like 3 different directions. It's insane. But like, yeah, it's such a sometimes it can be quite hard to balance the creative lifestyle. You were like, you did some extras work as well, I think I remember seeing. Were you in Mortal Kombat? I think it was, you were an extra in.
Yeah, I was an extra in Mortal Kombat, and I mean, like, I'm pretty sure everyone else in South Australia was as well. But
I wasn't, but I applied.
Oh no.
I was like, what the fuck, man?
It was a really cool set. And I also ended up being a double as well, for one of the main characters. I don't know, can't remember her name, but that was really cool. that was fun.
There would have been so many of you there as well, I guess, because was it like big fight scenes and you were people like were crowd and just whereabouts where did they film that?
They had multiple different locations around Adelaide. I don't even remember where they filmed it, to be honest. I remember though for the double scenes that I had to do, they were at the top. I don't even know. It was like deep in the Adelaide hills. It was in the middle of winter, right. And it was a 4 p.m. till 7 a.m. shoot.
Oh, okay.
And there was no indoor area or heating. It was like
really?
-1, 0 degrees or something for several hours in the middle of the night. And we were all just like huddled together, like me and the other actors and whatever. We were just like, oh my God, we're going to die. I don't even know if I'm allowed to say any of that, but...
Acting stories are always my favorite. There's always just, it's weird. Yeah, like sometimes you get some really cool, like, you know, oh yeah, that was a really good shoot. This was that and this was that. But then, yeah, the behind the scenes look at it sometimes can also be quite like, oh yeah, but you know, we had to do this and we were in this position and it was just like, oh shit, like, it wasn't always like, you know, smiles and laughs. It was like, oh man, are we going to freeze to death or like...
Oh yeah, you go through a range of emotions. One minute you're like just crying and then the next minute you're hysterically laughing with each other because you don't know what else to do.
Yeah, right. That's so great. I'd like to actually touch on, because you obviously said earlier that you're quite artistic and did painting and all that sort of stuff as well.
Yes.
Obviously doing the fault lines sort of EP imagery and that sort of stuff. Have you done like EP work or paintings for like anything else, like sort of music related or like any big sort of things, or is it more so just like a hobby that you enjoy doing?
More so a hobby I like doing. It just kind of just gives me a nice little calming release of just putting paint to a canvas. I've mostly been fixated on painting clouds recently. My house is now covered in cloud paintings. I don't know why. I think I just like the motion of painting a cloud.
Yes.
And I like clouds.
This is cloud, not clowns.
No, not clowns. No, we don't.
No, clouds.
No.
One
clouds.
is much more peaceful than the other.
Yes, a lot more.
Oh, that's so good. I did art back. I know that I did art back when I was in like high school and all that sort of thing. I was like okay, I wasn't like that amazing. I did like 3 canvases for my final, and then they are now like, well, one of them's in London, one of them's in New Zealand, and one of them's back home because they were like a family-based one. So I was just like, I'll paint my grandma's friend's house in London, then I'll send that to her. I'll paint my granddad's house that he used to live in New Zealand and send that to him. And then I painted the front of my house or our house, and then I gave it to my grandma. So that was a lot of fun. Did you kind of do like art in high school as you went on and that sort of thing?
I didn't do much in high school. School was not for me.
Fair.
Yeah, I kind of did my own art. I couldn't like stick to a instruction or a guideline or anything like that.
Yeah.
It was too much for me to. I'm like, no, can't do it. Sorry, it's not in my head, therefore I can't do it.
Yeah.
Do what I want to do.
Very self-taught.
It's bad. I would just see it like I mostly like painting landscapes and like clouds, like nature stuff and whatever, opposed to being taught to be, taught a painting style or anything like that. I don't have the patience for it. It makes me like really, I don't know, it makes me uncomfortable and makes me want to rip my limbs off for some reason. But like,
that's like I love the fact you're basically like self-taught in art. You're like, I'm just gonna like just start painting and drawing and stuff on my own and just expand with that and see what comes from it. And obviously there were a lot of clouds that came from it. So
yep. Don't know why, but here we are.
That's so cool. One last thing I'd love to ask you, just as a cool sort of question. When it comes to music and like shows and stuff that you've seen, what was one of your favorite shows that you've seen of a band that you've seen play live that really stuck with you that you can think of off the top of your head?
Oh boy.
Oh yes. And there's probably a lot.
Now we got to sit down for another whole 30 minutes. I mean, immediately 2007, 2008, when I got to see My Chemical Romance on their Black Parade is Dead tour. I was like 11 or 12.
Yeah.
That shit stuck with me. Like, that was like...
That would have been prime.
God damn. Yeah, that was good. But also, I will have to mention King Crimson.
Right, okay.
King Crimson, saw them 3 times in Europe.
Ooh,
and
wow.
That was something else. That was like, you have to see them more than once if you get the chance to. Like,
okay.
Got the chance to, I don't know. But yeah, like they had 3 drummers drumming with each other, and Gavin Harrison drumming amongst them as well. So you had to have like a night to focus on each drummer, like, and musician, because there was so much going on, and it was just such a phenomenal experience. That one I'll have to mention as well.
That's incredible. Such a good time. Wow. I'd have to, if they're still going around, I'll have to go and see them for sure. There's so many like massive gigs over here in Europe as well. There's so much just to do.
I'm so jealous. There's nothing going on here, especially in Adelaide. I have to go fly to another city.
One reason why I left, but no.
I don't blame you.
There's no shortage of gigs and festivals over here, especially during June and July, because they are just everywhere. And it's just like all the bands do the circuits and they just go to all these festivals and play all these shows. And it's just like, wow, that's like a dream, but also that would just be absolutely exhausting.
Yeah. Oh, I remembered another one as well. Opeth.
Oh, quick, let's finish on this one. What's this one?
Opeth.
Hey, Opeth.
Saw them a couple of times.
Wonderful.
Had to mention that because it's Opeth. Hello.
Yes, and they're one of your favorite bands, yeah?
They are one of.
There you go. That's wonderful. This has been so awesome, Felicia. Thank you so much for joining me for this. It's been so cool talking to you about all this sort of stuff, music and films and everything like that.
Thank you.
I really appreciate you being here. And thank you so much. Cheers.
Thank you. See you later.
Thank you so much for tuning into the episode this week. I hope that you enjoyed it. Do listen to Felicia's work in Connections and False Dawn. There are links in the description of this episode. And as well as that, check out the Chasm review that I did with both Felicia and Alex surrounding their new single Home on my YouTube channel at This Is Chasm. Please leave a rating and a review for the show wherever you listen to your podcasts, and I'll see you next week for a new episode with a new guest here on Chasm Converses.